Grumpy Tales Africa present. The concluding part of I faked amnesia after my husband's affair, he confessed everything. 2 days later, Chioma made her boldest move yet. She invited Tolani to the house. She had gotten her number from Emeka's phone and called, disguising her voice. "Madam, your man is double-crossing you. Come to number 12 Obiola Crescent at 4 p.m. You'll see it yourself." By 4:07 p.m., Tolani's red heels clicked furiously against the tiled floor of Chioma's compound. The gate was left open, as planned. Tolani barged in. "Where is he?" "I know he's here." Chioma emerged from the kitchen, face calm, apron on, holding a wooden spoon like a queen holds a scepter. "Oh, Tolani, welcome. We've been expecting you." Tolani froze. "Chioma. I thought it was time we met woman to woman," she said, smiling. "Since you already know my husband so well." Before Tolani could respond, Emeka walked in holding a bag of fruits. He stopped dead. "Jesus." Chioma turned to him slowly. "Darling, look who came to visit." His face turned pale. "Chioma, this isn't what it looks like." Tolani folded her arms. "Really? Because you said you were done with her? Or is this just another lie?" Chioma looked at them both. "No lies today. Everyone tells the truth." And then she locked the door behind them. The living room was tense. Emeka stood between the two women, his past and his present, sweating, trembling. Chioma calmly poured 3 glasses of zobo and placed them on the table. "No one leaves until everything is said," she announced, locking eyes with Emeka. Tolani scoffed. "I don't owe you anything." Chioma's smile didn't fade. "You're right. But you owe yourself the truth. Let's start with how long." Emeka sank into the chair. 6 months. Tolani's brows shot up. 6. You told me 3. Chioma nodded. "He's always had a timing problem." Tolani turned on Emeka. "You lied to me too? You said you were done with her." "I thought I was," he snapped. "But she's still in my head. I didn't know she'd fake." He froze. Chioma leaned forward. "Finish the sentence, Emeka." "You didn't know I'd fake what?" He stuttered. I didn't mean." She stood, calm but deadly. "You see, I might have lost my memory, but now I remember everything. And I wanted both of you here, so you could hear each other lie, in surround sound." Emeka buried his face in his palms. Tolani grabbed her purse. "I'm done with both of you." And just like that, the house fell into dead silence. After Tolani stormed out, slamming the door behind her, Emeka collapsed onto the couch like a man whose world had crumbled. Chioma didn't move. She stood near the window, watching the clouds darken outside. The sky, like her heart, was heavy. Emeka finally broke the silence. "Chioma. I never meant for it to go this far." She turned, eyes burning, voice low. "You didn't mean to betray me? Or you didn't mean for me to find out?" He looked up at her, guilt etched across his face. "I was lonely. You were always busy, always distant. I felt invisible. And instead of talking to me," she said, pacing slowly, "you found someone to warm your ego." He stood. "I was wrong. I know I was. But the way you faked amnesia. Chioma, that's cruel." She turned sharply. "You don't get to call anything I do cruel. I had to trick the truth out of the man I married. That's the real crime here." Emeka looked down, ashamed. She continued, "I wanted to see who you really were when you thought I didn't remember. And now I see it clearly." He whispered, "Can we fix this?" Chioma's silence was louder than thunder. The next morning, Chioma visited Pastor Jide, her spiritual father since university. The small church office smelled of old books and incense. She sat before him, holding back the emotions she had bottled for weeks. "My husband cheated. I pretended to lose my memory so he'd confess. Now he has, and I don't know what to do with the truth." Pastor Jide studied her quietly, then said, "You wanted to punish him, Chioma." She blinked. "I wanted justice." "No," he said gently. "You wanted power. Because betrayal made you feel powerless." Chioma looked down. "Marriage is not a war," he continued. "But it becomes one when trust is shattered. The question now is, do you want revenge or healing?" She didn't respond immediately. He leaned forward. "Healing isn't forgetting what he did. It's deciding whether your heart can forgive, and whether he's willing to rebuild from the ground." "I don't trust him," she whispered. "Then don't rush. But don't stay in a house where only silence grows. Speak your pain. Let him feel it." As Chioma left the office, the clouds parted slightly. She had no answers yet, but for the first time in weeks, she felt the weight shift. It was time to confront, not conceal. That evening, Chioma sat opposite Emeka in the parlor. No games. No tricks. Just raw truth waiting to be laid bare. "I saw Pastor Jide today," she began. Emeka looked up cautiously. "What did he say?" "That I need to decide whether I want revenge or healing." He swallowed hard. "And what do you want?" Chioma folded her arms. "I want to know why." "Why Tolani? Why us?" Emeka sighed. "I felt unseen. Like I didn't matter in this marriage anymore. You were always working, always cold. I needed warmth." She shot him a sharp glance. "And instead of fixing what we had, you jumped into another bed." "I was wrong," he said quickly. "I was selfish. But Chioma, I missed us. I didn't know how to say it." Chioma's voice cracked. "You broke me. Do you understand that?" "I know. And if I could take it back. But you can't." She stood, walking toward the door. "You destroyed my trust. And now I don't know if love is enough." He reached out, desperate. "I'm willing to fight. I'll do therapy, counseling, anything. Please don't leave me." She paused at the door. "No more lies, Emeka," she said. "From here on, truth is the only language I speak." The next Saturday, both families gathered in Chioma and Emeka's home. Her mother sat stiffly in her iro and buba, lips tight. Emeka's elder brother, Chuka, stood with arms folded, watching his younger sibling with disappointment. Chioma broke the silence. "I called this meeting not to shame Emeka, but to speak the truth, finally." She recounted everything, the affair, the voice note, the fake amnesia, and the confession. Gasps echoed across the room. Chioma's mother wiped a tear. "You mean this boy was lying to your face while you cared for his home?" Chuka turned to Emeka. "You shamed this family. You had a good woman." Emeka lowered his head. "I failed. I admit it. I let my pride ruin what we built." Chioma's voice was steady. "I don't want apologies anymore. I want action. If this marriage is to continue, it will be on new terms." She pulled out a list: counseling sessions, church accountability, financial transparency, and a temporary separation for healing. Everyone went quiet. Emeka nodded slowly. "I'll agree to all of it. I want to earn your trust back, not beg for it." Chioma's father, quiet until now, finally spoke. "Then let healing begin. But don't waste this second chance." A week after the family meeting, Emeka moved into a small serviced apartment nearby. It was Chioma's condition, distance, space, and time. Every evening, he sent her a message detailing his day, his therapy notes, and how he was changing. Some nights she replied. Some nights she didn't. Chioma poured herself into her career, began her own therapy, and reconnected with old friends she had once isolated herself from. For the first time in years, she was rediscovering who she was outside of being a wife. One Saturday, Emeka surprised her by sending flowers to her office with a handwritten note, "Still learning how to love you the right way. Still here." She smiled, but didn't reply. One Sunday morning, she visited him at his apartment. It was tidy. His Bible was open on the table. The man who once hid his phone like a secret now placed it face up on the couch, no passwords. "I didn't come to inspect you," she said. "I came to see if your change is real." "And what do you think?" he asked quietly. She looked around. "You're trying. I see that. But I'm not ready to come back." He nodded. "I'll wait. For as long as it takes." 2 months into their separation, Emeka received an unexpected call. It was Tolani. "Can we talk?" she asked, her voice softer than he remembered. He hesitated, then agreed to meet at a public cafe. When he arrived, she was already seated, dressed in bold colors and the same confident smile that once drew him in. "I heard you moved out," she said, sipping her drink. "So, is it over?" Emeka leaned back. "No. We're rebuilding. Slowly." Tolani laughed bitterly. She faked memory loss. "You think that's the foundation of a healthy marriage?" "I betrayed her," he replied calmly. "She did what she had to do to survive it. And I won't make the same mistake twice." Tolani reached for his hand. "You sure? We had fire, Emeka. You can't lie to yourself." He pulled his hand away. "That fire burned down everything I loved. I'm done playing with flames." She scoffed. "You regret it." "Maybe," he said, standing. "But not today." He walked away, not looking back. That evening, he sent Chioma a voice note. She tried again. "I walked away. For the first time, I chose us." Chioma listened to it twice. Then, for the first time in weeks, she smiled. One quiet evening, Chioma sat at her desk, reflecting on everything. Her heart was calmer now. The wounds were healing, still tender, but no longer bleeding. She picked up her pen and began writing a letter. Not a message, not a voice note, a handwritten letter. "Dear Emeka, there was a time I thought I could never look at you again without pain. You didn't just break our vows, you broke my belief in us. But something strange happened over these past few months. I started healing. Not because of what you said, but because of what you consistently did. You stopped trying to win me back with words, and started showing up with actions. And I saw it. I can't promise we'll go back to the way things were. Honestly, I don't want to. I want something new, something stronger. If you're still willing, I'm ready to take the first step, together. Chioma." She folded the letter carefully, walked to Emeka's apartment, and slid it under his door. That night, he found it. And as he read, his hands trembled. He pressed the letter to his chest and whispered, "Thank you." The new chapter had begun. 3 days later, Chioma stood outside the front door of the home she once shared with Emeka. She had a small travel bag and a pounding heart. As she turned the key and stepped inside, the familiar scent of vanilla and wood polish wrapped around her like an old memory. Emeka was in the kitchen. When he saw her, his eyes widened with disbelief. "You're here?" She nodded. "I'm not promising forever today. But I'm home. For now." He stepped closer, careful, like approaching something fragile. "I'll make you breakfast. Like I used to. Yam and egg sauce." She smiled faintly. "With too much pepper, like always." They laughed, gently, but it was real. A laughter they hadn't shared in months. They spent the day unpacking memories, making space for new ones. No grand speeches. No unrealistic expectations. Just two wounded people choosing to heal together. That night, as they sat on the couch, Chioma rested her head on Emeka's shoulder. "You'll still go to therapy?" she asked. "Every week. And I never stop being accountable." She whispered, "Then maybe, we have a chance." Outside, the crickets sang. Inside, silence no longer meant war, it meant peace. They were starting again. Not as perfect lovers, but as honest partners. Months later, Chioma and Emeka sat before a group of young couples at a marriage retreat in Abeokuta. They were not there as perfect examples, but as survivors. Chioma spoke first. I faked amnesia not to punish my husband, but to create a moment of clarity, for him and for myself. Gasps echoed. She continued, I learned that healing starts the moment you choose yourself, not in bitterness, but in truth. Emeka added, I betrayed my wife, not just by cheating, but by failing to be emotionally present. I thought apologies would fix it. They didn't. Only change did. A woman in the audience raised her hand. But how did you forgive him? Chioma looked at Emeka, then back. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It's deciding that the pain no longer controls your future. The room fell silent. Later that night, as they drove home, Emeka reached for her hand. Would you have stayed if you never faked the amnesia? She smiled. Maybe not. It forced you to show who you really are, without the comfort of knowing I was watching. He nodded, squeezing her hand. Thank you for choosing us. She whispered, thank you for becoming someone worth choosing. Moral of the story. Even betrayal can lead to redemption, if there's accountability, effort, and the courage to rebuild. Love is not just about staying. It's about choosing each other, again and again, with eyes wide open.